This episode is brought to you by standardandstrange.com, the best denim, leather jacket, and boot shop on the planet. And right now, we, myself and Standard and Strange, are giving away a free leather jacket. Go to standardandstrange.com/Delray and enter your email to enter this contest for a free Y2 leather. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on this. It's free and you've got nothing to lose. So just go to standardandstrange.com/Delray, enter your email and get ready to win a badass leather jacket like you've seen me wear. There is no scams here. They're not going to sell your email or anything. They are just a couple friends of mine with a kick-ass shop, and they want to do something cool. So there you go. It is episode number 612 today. We have a comedian on. Yes, I am excited. I love this woman. She is fantastic and funny. Irene Tu is here today, sitting down, talking comedy with me and music and life. It's great to have a comedian on. It's very rare, and I love to have them on, especially when it's somebody out there working hard and grinding like myself. I want to open some ears and eyes to people I think that are really funny and working hard. So Irene Tu is here today. Check out her Instagram and see her out on the road. She's going to be recording her record in the Bay Area, I believe in San Francisco, November 10th. So be part of that. Hit up her Instagram and find out all about it. Also, this episode and all of my podcasts can be found on my podcast network, cactusradionetwork.com. At Home with Byron Katie, Dark Fonzie, The Grail, and Let There Be Talk are all on there for free. So visit it anytime. And if you want to see me out doing live shows, go to my website, deandelray.com, and hit the touring dates. Lots of stuff coming up. This Saturday, Los Gatos. I think there's maybe 10 tickets left, so do not sleep on that. I'm also coming up to Bend, Oregon, and Portland, Oregon, headlining. My buddy Shaylin McDonough will be featuring, so get some tickets right away. And the following week, I will be in Atlanta with Bill Burr. Just got back from some of the most epic shows I've ever got to be part of, including Red Rocks, which was Friday night. Unbelievable. After 35 years of dreaming of playing that iconic venue, after seeing Sunday Bloody Sunday a million times on MTV with U2 out there, I wanted to play that venue my entire life, and it finally happened. And thank you, Mr. Bill Burr. Oh my God, Bill, I owe you big time. Bill crushed those rocks. I wouldn't be surprised if or people are still sore from laughing out there. Oh my God. I will be talking about Red Rocks and a bunch of other stuff on my Patreon later today, patreon.com/DeanDelRay, where you can get all the Let There Be Talk bonus episodes. So join up and hear all about Red Rocks and the entire week, St. Louis and Minneapolis. Minnesota. Where were we? I don't know. I don't know. Actually got into a Spinal Tap mode out there of like, where are we? I don't even know where. It's so weird. Like, unless I'm looking at a map of the United States, I just don't even know where the fuck states are, because you just get on a plane and then they open the door and you're somewhere else, total time machine shit. And then you get in a car and you go to the venue and then you leave. You're like, I don't even know where we're at. I do not know where we're at. So I had an incredible time. I will never, ever forget Red Rocks, ever. All right. What else is happening? I guess I'll be at the Comedy Store a few nights this week. and just bouncing around, trying to get funny, trying to get this material going. I'll be headlining back out at Des Moines, Iowa. All the tour dates, DeanDelRey.com, like I said, and the merch is restocked. I got the Dark Fonzie shirts and the Dean Del Rey shirts. There's some Gertie shirts and hoodies. All of it's on the website. Okay, let's give a shout out to the new Patreoners, huh? Yeah. I'm fucking out of my mind. I don't know. I just want to lay around today. Holy shit. New Patreoners: Dustin Havinga, James Simon, Eric Stowell, Jay Vinitiski, Magnus, Sue Foley. I love you, Sue Foley. She bumped up her pledge. So great. Oh my God. Anyway, those are some of the new Patreoners. I do a Zoom fest every week. You can join me on Zoom. Last night, hanging out with all the Patreoners on Zoom. It was great. Just having a good old time. Talking some music, talking some comedy, talking some movies. Woo! Can't wait for the new James Bond. Got to see that. I got to see Uncle Joey in the Sopranos film. I'll probably watch that tonight. I got a goddamn book I got to read here. I got to finish the Nikki Sixx book because I'm going to be doing his live signing next week. And what else am I doing? Oh, we got some great guests coming up too in the next few weeks. Tommy Shaw is going to be here on Let There Be Talk. And the author of In the Weeds is going to be here. Tom wrote a great book about working with Anthony Bourdain, and I can't wait to talk to him. All kinds of stuff. Anyway, candles are definitely lit. Candles are lit. Try to do Bill Murray Caddyshack. I don't know. Candles are lit. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Irene Tu.
Hi, I'm Irene Tu, and I'm so happy to be here.
Good to have you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. We were just talking teas.
We were talking teas because I just grabbed a matcha latte from the coffee shop that I met you at.
Yeah, hilarious. We're wearing masks. You got a Punchline shirt, a hoodie on.
Yeah.
And I said, I got a mask on. I go, Punchline. I work there. And you're like, oh, cool. And
I didn't know what to say because I didn't know if you meant, because I didn't recognize you.
Right, we both have masks on.
And you were like, oh, I work there. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I didn't know if that meant you worked like in the kitchen.
Right.
Or if you were a server or if you were a comic.
Yeah.
Or a booker back in the day. I had no idea.
I figured you fucking knew who I was.
I really just was so thrown off because I was with my other friend who's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he didn't recognize you right off the bat. So we were just like...
Yeah, we got masks on. It's hilarious.
He's a guy. Yeah.
I think it's a good time to be famous. I'm not famous, but if you were... You just got a mask on. You could just shop right in like Trader Joe's.
100%. I mean, even if you're famous, you just put on a hat, a mask.
Yeah.
You look like everybody else.
Yeah, I think even when COVID's gone, famous people should still wear masks. Yeah. Because then you won't even know who it is. And you're just like, that freak's still scared of COVID.
Yeah.
You pussy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's just Sean Penn, Leo. Yeah, Leo. Leo, man, I met Leo at the store, and that guy is giant tall.
Really? He doesn't look very tall, in movies.
I know. I guess, I'm 5'6", so anything's giant tall to me. But he was a big dude, bigger than... I had met him years ago, but just in passing at a Yes concert, and I don't remember him being like that. But at the store, I guess he just walked in. I was like, oh, whoa, this guy's big.
Could you tell right away it was Leo?
Yeah, because we were in that VIP bar area.
Gotcha.
And I have a tendency to, when I see someone famous, I just say, oh, hey, Leo. or I say, Leo, and then he said,
like not even cool about it at all. Yeah. You're like, oh, is it him? You're just like, let me just check. Leo.
Yeah. I mean, it just came out. Like, you're just thinking like, It just inside you're going, oh, that's Leo. But I was like, Leo.
That's hilarious.
And it was fresh off Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a goddamn masterpiece.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my God. I'm like 5 times on that film.
Really?
It is unreal. And he murders it and Brad Pitt murders it. They both just are doing a like a seminar on primo acting. It's great.
Yeah, they're both so good.
Oh my God.
It's incredible.
I was thinking about it last night. Some of the actors out, there's this Christian Bale thing. Oh, he's a dick on the set. It came out. And it was like the level, the weirdness that they have to get into to be that good. I could understand. It's almost, if there's people on the set being dicks, it's like hecklers in the crowd. You're just kind of like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to be the Joker over here. You know?
Especially if it's like a dick character. I feel like
yeah, you're in it.
I that just comes with it. It's like they're in character the whole time, and then they just have to be like not like snap out of it and be nice for like 2 seconds, then go back into character. I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, I can't
No.
either. I worship what some of those guys do. Christian Bale, Sean Penn, a Matt Dillon, a Leo, a Brad. These guys, Javier Bardem, his character in No Country for Old Men, I'm just like, what the fuck?
I wish I could do that, or like Meryl Streep in every single movie she's ever been in.
Crusher. Right?
Yeah.
How long you been doing comedy?
I started when I was in high school a little bit, and I started I took a stand-up class at the Second City because I'm from Chicago, and then I ended up doing more improv, and then I slowly got into it, because I'm like the person that dips their toe in the water for like 5 hours and then gets in the pool. So I knew I wanted to do comedy, but I wasn't really sure. So I over the course of like the first 4 years, I was like, I'll do it a little bit, and then finally, I was like, okay, I'm just going to actually do comedy now.
It's funny to think about improv and sketch. I was talking to somebody about this last week because I was watching some classic Eddie Murphy stuff on SNL. And there was that great movie out a few years ago where it was basically based on the guys were getting on a SNL type of show. What was that movie? I can't remember. It's like an indie flick. It was really good.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was really good. But there was this scene on it where they said, our season's the best. And everybody says that, the era we grew up with.
Yes.
And then they're like, well, was it really? Or was, we're just attached to it. But my point is, if I think about sketch, I think about Chappelle's Show. Mm-hmm. I think about Key and Peele. Some of that.
Yep.
Some of the Living Color and some of the SNL. And then other than that, I just don't laugh at any of it.
Yeah, a lot of it doesn't make me laugh that hard. Like it takes a certain sketch where I will like be like crying laughing, but it's very rare for me to like laugh really hard at a sketch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because it's been going on. Look how long SNL is going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's probably 50, and I could be wrong if I sat down and really looked, but maybe 50 classic sketches out of all those years. And most of them are from the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then you got the Burr one with the Sam Adams, that kind of shit. And when Chappelle was on, some stuff. Throughout the years, there's a couple here and there, but it's funny to think about how much great stand-up there is over those years.
Well, the thing too is like with like sketch shows, they have so little time to work on the sketch and put it out, and a lot of it's like topical. Like
You're
SNL
right.
is like every week they have to put out these sketches. So with us doing stand-up, we work on these jokes for years and years, and even by then we're like, it's sort of done.
Right.
But you still try to perfect it. With the sketch, I don't think people are spending years on these sketches.
Yeah, you're right on that, actually. And then you just have the genius of Chappelle, where everyone was insane. You're like, how is this even possible? It was like they just come out and murder it for 2 seasons, and they're going like, every sketch is great. Every sketch is great. It is wild. It's so wild that, Chappelle, he talks about how furious he was anywhere he went for a while. Disneyland, I'm Rick James, bitch. Yeah. And he's just like, hey, man, I'm here with my kids. You know? That drive you crazy.
Does that ever happen to you with the like people in the audience in jokes? Will they like yell out something?
For years, I had this one, nuts to butts. And man, it was like anywhere I went, nuts to butts. And at first I loved it. And then after a while, I was like, fuck, I got other bits. Yeah. I felt like some band. I'm not just a one-hit bit. You know? I'm not a one-bit wonder. Yeah.
That's one-bit wonder. That's great.
It's funny, though, because later you realize, well, fuck, man, I'm not mad at that because that brought a lot of people in and people were talking about that bit. So I'm okay with it. But I couldn't imagine just Hot Pockets for your whole life.
Oh my God, your whole life.
Yeah.
It's just Hot Pockets.
Yeah. So what it did to me, and I don't know if this happens to you, because I had talked to comics for a while when I first started. That was my big closer. And then I started thinking like, fuck, am I ever going to get another closer?
Yeah.
And then years go by and you just forget about that bit. I remember one time I was kind of bombing. And I just said, I'm going to just whip this one out and try to fix it. And I ate it even harder because I didn't give a fuck about the bit.
You haven't done it in
I didn't even know it. I was midway in. I go, I don't even know how this goes. You know? Oh, God. So, yeah. How about you? You got the monster closer and then...
The closer that I do is like one of the first jokes I ever wrote. And to me, it's a little bit hacky or I think it's a little easy. So I'll still do it because it works at the end almost always, but I hate it. And then people will always be like, oh, I love that joke. And I'm like,
yeah,
I have so many other jokes that I love more, especially it's like every new joke you write, you love the most, right? Because I'm getting closer to what I want to talk about. Like, this is me. But people are like, oh, I love that thing. And I'm like, I'm over the thing. Like, let's move on to this new bit I'm working on, you know?
Well, I don't like when bits start. Once they work, I'm over it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Once they work, I'm like, it's done.
I'm such a chaser. I just love the mining of it. It's also wild when you're. How long you been doing it?
So I would say I started when I was 19 and I'm 28, so like 9 years.
Yeah, I'm 10 and a half. You know, minus COVID, I'm 10 years in.
Exactly.
Yeah, and. You think about it, you learn what's hacky too as you go. At first, I thought it was about getting laughs.
Yeah.
I truly believed that. I thought like, oh man, I'm getting laughs. And then you realize, you know, the nuts to butts was, essentially a singing bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, and then I was like, oh God, I would never do a singing bit now.
Yeah.
I had no idea that singing bits are hacky. And there's so much hack, and I get it. Some people roll on that, and that's how they roll. But as I got into comedy, I was like, well, you know, Pryor wouldn't do a singing bit.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie Murphy would, but it would be amazing.
Right.
I mean, that's different. When you're doing voices as insane as Eddie Murphy,
incredible.
You must do them.
You have to use that tool in your toolbox.
You must do them. Melissa Villaseñor, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't do voices.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I did a singing bit, it's like something's wrong with Irene. She needs help.
I used to do voices in high school.
Yeah.
Killer. I loved to do it. I could do my metal shop teacher. I could do Bill Murray and Caddyshack. I could do a lot of different people. The Fonz, like,
wow.
That's how old I am. People are like, how old is this guy? The Fonz? But I could do them. But now I don't even watch TV or movies, so I can't really do voices except for people around me. So that's even a better way to go, like a Maria Bamford, where they're really, really...
like personal and specific.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
I don't know how she does it. The voices that she does.
They're so good.
And she just goes in and out of different voices for specials. I wish I could do that.
Fully possessed. I love it.
Yeah.
Fully possessed. You know what I mean? Like straight up Sybil, that old movie, like 10 personalities. I just dig it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is so real deal. And those type of people drive us to, especially if you have to go on after someone like a Maria Bamford or say a Marin, you try to do some hokey shit. you're going to be like just exposed. Even you feel like shit.
Yeah, you're like, oh, people know I'm not good.
Yeah, they go like, oh, so the show's over, huh?
Yeah.
You know, is this show over?
They're like, oh, they put the cook from the back. They gave him a spot. Okay.
So you were doing some sketch and improv.
Yeah, I was doing that when I was like in high school and the first 2 years of college. I was doing that. And then I'm okay at improv and sketch, but it was never really my forte. I always felt like I was trying to put like a square peg in a round hole situation.
Yeah.
So it just didn't speak to me as much as doing stand-up. So then I started doing more stand-up again. And once I moved away from doing like trying to do like observational comedy, that's when I started to love it. Because my hero, like growing up, like the reason that I loved doing stand-up or I wanted to even get into comedy was Ellen.
Right.
Because I would watch her talk show and I thought she was super funny. And she was like gay and likable and I was closeted at the time. So I was like, oh, I want to do what she does, where she's gay, but people don't hate her for it. And she's like on TV every day. And I saw that she started by doing stand-up. So that's kind of how I got into doing more stand-up. And her comedy's very observational, like pretty clean. So I was trying to mimic that.
Oh.
But I'm not really that person, so it just didn't work.
Right. We talked about that at the time that Ellen special came out, I believe it's either between 02, 3, 4, it's right in there. And I think it was an HBO special. But I remember I was out on tour at the time playing music, and we'd watch it on the tour bus. And I was telling you, I was like floored how great it was.
Her 2 HBO specials, my favorite. Like, I can watch them over and over again. Still makes me laugh every time.
Super underrated.
So underrated.
People forget that she even does stand up. Mm-hmm. It's like a Stephen Wright. You're like, hey, you don't know. You want to see a god? Just go watch some Stephen Wright and lose your mind.
Yeah.
Go watch some Bob Newhart. These people that you forget even did stand up that were insane at it and kind of walked away from it. I know Stephen Wright still tours and stuff, but does a lot of TV writing behind the scenes. But these guys, when I was growing up, I would see people like Ellen, that's 02 or whatever. I forgot even Ellen was doing comedy. And then that was kind of her, special. And then she disappeared for years and then did one a couple years ago.
Yeah, she did that one recently.
Right, but that one around 02, 03.
It's so good.
It really is. It really is. So when you're watching her, you figured, oh, I'm just going to be that. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, you pick like your favorite comic. You're like, oh, I'm going to do it like this comic does.
Yeah.
Right? You just copy, right? Because you don't know anything else. You don't know what the other options are. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And I thought it was very funny, and I still think it's very funny. But I realized, my voice is not her voice.
Right.
So I can't do the silly jokes that she does about, tripping on the sidewalk and trying to run away.
It's like playing music where you're almost a cover comic. You're not doing the bits. Mm-hmm. But maybe you're... When I started, everyone was Tosh. When I was at the open mics, they had a cashmere sweater on. They had their arm crossed with the mic like this and the finger out like, oh, really? Oh, really? Too soon? That kind of shit. And I was like, oh, wow. And I wanted to be Eddie Murphy. I was prowling the stage. Yeah. I'd be on the smallest stage. I'd be going back and forth. I told you, and I'm like big and huge. And it's funny where I'm at now.
You're not as big now, I don't think, as that.
No. I like to just turn it on and then kind of turn it off. I'm still trying to find it. Yeah. I realize when I watch a Sebastian Maniscalco or a Chris Rock workout, when they work out, they're at this kind of mellowness of them that you've never even seen Chris Rock at. Yeah. He's just up there like, oh, man, And then when he gets it all, he turns it up. And I always thought, well, I like that Chris Rock, the working out one, or that Sebastian. They do the big act outs and everything, but I like when they're like this. So then I was like, well, what am I doing? I like this. I should try to be a little bit more slow and not huge, but be able to turn it on here and there. Not a Nate Bargatze where I'm just kind of mellow, but somewhere just find it. know?
In between, in the middle.
Yeah, but it's hard. I get on stage, I'm excited. I get adrenaline going. The next thing you know, it's like someone put some cocaine in me. I'm just like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? But I think you learn, you must watch clips. You must listen to the recordings.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching a clip last night of a set that I thought I did like pretty good.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was like, it was not that good.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I have the opposite problem where I am more chill just in real life and on stage. And I'm like learning how to turn it up more.
Right.
You know, like give more of a performance or like kind of use the whole space and stage.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that person. Like if I'm in a group conversation, I'm more of a listener than a active participant. I like to see what other people are doing. But when you're on stage, it's just you talking and you have to like give it your all.
Yeah.
And for me, if I overperform, that's like a person just regular performing.
Was there a time once you come out, first of all, at what age did you come out?
So, I mean, I kind of knew I was gay my whole life,
right.
But nobody that I grew up with was gay. Like, I didn't know it. I grew up in, like, the suburbs of Chicago, and everyone was, like, religious-ish. I just, like, even in my high school, like, nobody was gay. Or if they were, they weren't out. We had a GSA. There were 3 people in it, a gay straight alliance, and none of those people were gay. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
It's just like 3 allies. I'm like, this is terrible. So
that's interesting.
I knew. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, because everyone has the gay guy or woman in the high school. You're like, oh, the band leader guy.
Nobody.
Wow.
At least when I was there, nobody was gay.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a male cheerleader, and he was cool and popular, but I didn't know if he was gay or not, and he never was like, I'm gay.
Right.
So it was just not a cool thing when I was growing up.
But I grew up in the Bay Area, man.
And you grew up in the Bay. Yeah,
it's
I'm
the
just
gay world. You know?
Yeah, I grew up in like a white picket fence, like you got your kids and your dog and stuff like that.
I'm glad I grew up around gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grew up around gay. That's some after school special shit, right? I'm glad I grew up around gay. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My uncle was gay. My cousin was gay. The streets around me were gay. You know what I mean? The outfits I loved were gay. I love all gay stuff except dick. So I never had a problem. You know what I mean? I like great neighborhoods. I like fashion. I like, clean haircuts. And, for a while it was metrosexual. Remember that?
That is true. Yeah, that was the extent to which people were comfortable. Like in my middle school and high school there were some guys that were metrosexual.
Right.
But nobody was gay, God forbid, And it was like everyone kind of wore the same outfits. So you're like, it's Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
topsiders.
Douchey, cool, rich kid clothing.
Oh, yeah. Sweater around the neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah. So I didn't come out until I was in college. I think it was after my freshman year of college I came out.
And did you come out because you started seeing a woman, or did you come out just because you're like, fuck it, freedom?
No, it wasn't because of a girl. I came out because, I never felt like I have to come out, but it did feel like I was harboring like a secret and I wasn't telling people.
Right.
And then I ended up cutting my hair before I came out to my mom. Because I had really long straight black hair, like the Mulan cartoon, like that was me, that long.
Yeah.
People called me Mulan when I was in first grade, which might have been racist.
Might have been.
I don't know about this.
Chicago racism? No way.
No way. No way.
No way.
The only Asian person they know is a cartoon girl.
Yeah. Hilarious.
But then I decided I was like, I'm just gonna come out, and I started talking about it on stage too. I did some jokes about me being gay, like stuff that's I think again hacky or easy now, but it worked.
That's what I love. That's why I don't want to hammer on you're lesbian because who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
But the reason I brought it up was I love Al Madrigal. I think he's one of the best comedians out there. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really do stand-up much anymore, but he's Hispanic, and he's from the Bay, and he never talked about being Hispanic. And so that's why I brought it up. You're Asian and you're lesbian, so were you just writing that material for a while?
Yeah, so again, so I first tried to just do observational comedy. Then I was like, okay, I'll talk about being gay. And I did talk a little bit about my mom and then like being Asian. But I only really did that. And I'm still trying to figure out how much I want to do it in my set because I think because I look like this, people just have a preconceived notion before I get on stage that either they're like, who is this person trying to do stand up?
Yeah. It's like me. Here comes the biker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's just get it out of the way. It's like, yes, I'm gay. Yes, I'm Asian. Like, let's just talk about that. And then I can do some other jokes that I, want to talk about that you might not know that, about me.
Right. I used to have a giant mustache and I just did the bit right out of the gate to get rid of that,
Yeah, because what I would do on stage is I would just go up and be like, I'm a girl. And then people would be like, we get it. You look confusing.
Yeah.
It's just so they're comfortable. And then I'm like, okay, now I can tell some jokes.
Yeah.
What
gets you off the observational? Who is it that you see and go, oh, there's a different type of comedy I can do?
Yeah, so I started in Chicago again, and do you know Cameron Esposito?
I do know Cam.
So she does a lot of really personal material.
I haven't seen her in a long time, but
yeah,
I used to see her every show I did,
So she was talking a lot about her personal experiences being gay and funny stories, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I also saw Beth Stelling before she moved, and I thought she was really funny. And I was like, oh, these are two really great female comedians talking about themselves, different styles, obviously. And I was like, oh, okay, there's more than just observational comedy or dudes,
Yeah. It's so great to have you on because people, there's been this thing as I've been in comedy 10 years now, and that whole thing of women aren't funny.
Yeah.
And then I talked about it a few weeks ago on my podcast. I grew up on funny women on TV. Mary Tyler Moore, the wife on what's on All in the Family, Laverne and Shirley,
Golden Girls,
which
is amazing.
It's hundreds of them. Mrs. Roper, I'm talking about incredible funny women all the way up to now, and. Yeah, there's some hacky women and there's some hacky guys. And the hacky guys seem to get a pass, which I don't fucking know why.
Yeah, that's the thing that's upsetting where it's you can have your personal preference. You don't have to like every comedian. I also don't like every comedian. Some comedy is not really for me. Yeah. But to just blatantly be women aren't funny, I think is so close-minded and
I could write down 15 right now.
Yeah.
And just hand them to idiots and be like, hey, asshole. I think that the people are just dumb.
I think so. I mean, I think it's definitely just a personal issue where they're uncomfortable with women talking.
Woman.
Yeah, with women talking about whatever they want to talk about. Yeah. And it's oh, that's a you issue.
Yeah. I do that bit about, the Ford versus Ferrari, 67, women didn't talk. And it gets so fucking tight. But there's a big point to that, They weren't allowed to talk because men were so fucking stupid and insecure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Holy shit, if she talks, I might look like an idiot like I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then there was that whole phase, I grew up in the 80s, Carrie Snow was crushing it on the radio all the time in the mornings.
She's really funny.
Yeah, really funny. And they were calling them comedians.
Right, with an E and a double N.
Remember that dumb shit?
Some people still kind of do that too. And it's why?
Yeah, it's so dumb. So you watch those guys and then you start to write and you try to find your voice because that's kind of like me. Ian Edwards pulled me aside, said, your shit's dumb. You're
Did he say it like that?
Well, he was just like, what are you doing up there? And I was like, what do you mean? I just killed. I was in the OR. I got off. I felt all good. Fuck yeah, I'm in the hall. I was murdered. And he's all, nah, dog. That is some shit.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's you can kill, but it's not you.
No.
Where you're you could do better. There's different kind of laughs.
I was doing jokes like Bobby King of the Hill,
Oh, yeah.
Winnie the Pooh not wearing pants, singing nuts to butts. And I look at it and it's almost like you're a drug addict. You're addicted to these laughs now. You're getting a little bit of heat, but the wrong heat. Mm-hmm. You're getting heat from the audience, but not the comics. And then you realize, oh, I got to start over.
Yeah.
And when you start over, I started over and I bombed for a year. I had nothing. And then I slowly started to kind of figure it out. And I still am trying to figure it out. And, this year off has been brutal because I was feeling like I was really starting to figure it out. But I'm down for the challenge of, figuring it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to do an album and then put out all my old stuff.
Right.
But now I'm like, oh, I hate my old stuff because I'm trying to do different kind of jokes. So I'm just struggling where I'm like, okay, I got to work on this, 35 minutes to just put it out, just to have it out there. So I'm done and then work on my next, half hour of material. And I don't know what to do, because I'm like, that's not me anymore, but I want to put it out there so people can listen to it if they want.
Yeah, I decided not to.
Yeah.
I recorded 2 records and I shelved them both. And Marilyn was
Wow.
like, what, you fucking shelve them both? What are you doing, man? Get it out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know I do comedy because I didn't put out 4 million fucking clips. But, I'm looking at guys like Dave Attell that didn't put out anything for 15 years. Now, it's a different world now. Now I'm starting to put out clips.
Right.
And I don't care because I'm not getting a Netflix special. I'm a 55-year-old white guy. And I'm not getting an HBO or Showtime. So fuck it. Let's build it. And
Yeah.
I'll write it. And I'll put it out. And I'll keep writing. And it's better than putting out my old stuff. Because it's only 2 years old. I can listen to that. And I'm like, nah, I could just be better. I mean, I got a music record out that I worked on for 3 years. And I listen to it now. And there's no cringe moments. I can listen to the record and go, fucking, man, this is a good record for me. I did my best. And I think those were like my learning, and I'm still learning, but I don't want them out there
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's a struggle because I'm like, I know I will never be satisfied with maybe any of my jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day I'll be like, okay,
Right.
I'm a genius. Yeah, I'm brilliant. Nobody is better than me.
Yeah.
But I think just doing comedy, you're never satisfied with their jokes. Like, that's why we keep doing it. We're like, oh, I can get better. Like, I'm trying to get to the truth. So for me, this is my way of just being like, you know what? This was funny at the time. Let's just put it out there so people know I even do stand-up.
Right. What about this, though? And this is my new thought. How about shooting your best clip right now, your best one that you love, and just putting it out? Fuck it. And then when people find that, they find you for the right type of material.
Right. So I am trying to like put together like a late night set where it's like, this
Right.
is my best.
Yeah, that's
5
what
minutes.
I did. I did the Conan.
Yeah, watch your Conan.
Yeah, and
so funny.
And I still love it.
It's great.
Yeah, it was. I felt it was good for me. I thought, this was a great thread all the way through. It had a
Yes.
kind of a theme, and I feel good with it. But now I'm just going to try to shoot stuff and put out especially any great COVID material right now. Fuck that. Put it out right now.
You gotta
I ain't doing this
do
in a
that.
couple months.
Nobody's gonna want it in a couple
Comedian
months.
7 in the OR. Here's more COVID.
You guys heard about these masks?
Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Oh, someone cough over there? Is that COVID? Oh my God, COVID's going to be the new 9/11. It's going to be the new
God.
Trump. It's like all those. I never did a 9/11 joke ever because I found zero funny in it. That was the only thing I wouldn't touch. It just meant that to me. But I would be around and be like 9 comics in a row, 9/11. And I was like,
God.
wow. And then all the Trump stuff, that was crazy too, because it was just like, oh God, again?
I know, for like 4 years. You're like, all
Yeah.
right, we get it. And then everyone does their own impression of Trump. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And I just shit on the hat.
Yeah.
Ugly hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you get to LA? Because I always love a person. Like, comedy is fucking hard. I was talking about it. Some dick, I just did a podcast with Willie Nelson's granddaughter, and I said, music is hard, but comedy is way fucking harder. And then he tweeted, Not if you're good. It's like, asshole.
Wow.
Even the best, it's hard.
Yeah.
There's like two guys that are probably just always funny, and that would be like Chappelle and, probably Patrice. Mm-hmm. And Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Even I just listened to his Marin interview, and I was like, God, this guy's just fucking funny. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, it's constantly battling, But what I'm trying to get to is not only is it hard, but to move to this fucking city at the price it costs and the lunatics and the battle to get stage time, it is almost impossible. So how do you do it?
So I started in Chicago when I was in college. Then I transferred to UC Berkeley.
Did you start in Chicago?
I mean, yes, I started, quote unquote, right? Yeah.
I'm fucking with you.
I would go out once a week.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you.
At the coffee shop, because I was I wasn't 21, so I couldn't even go to any of the bar open mics. So it was like the music comedy open mic with someone with a guitar,
Oh, yeah. Here's some funny songs I
The
wrote.
mixed open mics.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah. So then I moved to the Bay.
Oh, you moved to the Bay. That's right.
That's how I started really doing more stand-up.
What made you go there?
So I went to UC Berkeley.
Oh, rad.
So then I lived there for 2 years.
Smarty pants.
I was trying to go to Stanford, and they did not want me.
Wow.
So that was the closest I could get.
And what were you going to school for?
I ended up graduating in Asian American and Asian Diaspora Studies, which is basically ethnic studies, which is basically me just studying about how everything is racist in America.
And where do you use that?
Just in everyday life conversation.
But what kind of job do you get with that?
Yeah, but normally people ask me that, and a lot of people go into like academia.
Right, I gotcha.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be a professor, and I didn't want to go to grad school or do anything like that. So I did comedy. And, I would have picked like some major or, done something else with my career if I'd loved it. When I was in college, I took so many different classes. Like I was an econ major for like 2 seconds, hated that. I took like a pre-med class. I was a gender studies major for like 2 seconds also. So I just ended up graduating when I took the most classes in. But I just liked doing comedy the most. I spent most of my time doing that. By the time I was a senior, I barely was going to class. You know what I mean? I was checked out.
Yeah. Where were you going on Punchline?
I started going to the local mics and shows, all the independent shows. And then you have to hang out at the Punchline on Sundays.
Right.
That's the open mic / showcase.
It's a great thing though.
It's great.
It's like Comedy Works in Denver. They're working a system. Then you start to host for big shows.
Exactly. So that's my home club is the Punchline. But it's hard when you first start hanging out on Sundays because if you're a new comic, you don't really know everybody yet.
Oh, I didn't know fucking anyone. I walked on the store patio and they were like, what's this
That's
fucking...
how I feel when I go to the store. I'm like, I still know comics there, but I'm it's very intimidating.
Oh, fuck. Try 44 walking on. They're like, can we help you? Saddle Ranch is up the street. I'm like, Saddle Ranch? I'm too old for Saddle Ranch. I'm here to do comedy like the other old guys, like Marin and Burr. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fucking weird because you do not know what you're doing. And some of the open micers seem incredible. I remember there was this guy, I thought he was a pro comic. He had bits that were slaying me. I was in the back like, oh my God, who's this guy? I never seen him on TV. I thought for sure this guy, I don't know, he's an open micer. I'm like, oh, I'm sunk.
Yeah.
I mean, there was guys that were good, and then they would be in their little corners talking after, and you'd be like, hey, and they'd be like, ugh. It was total high school.
Yeah.
It's so high school.
It's so cliquey.
Yeah.
It's even now, living in LA, there's a click thing happening.
Oh, you kidding me, man? I used to go to fucking Meltdown, and they would be like, what are you doing here? Like, you're a store comic.
Yeah.
Like they look down on me, like... Not the real dudes, but the fucking wannabes.
I always think it's weird that there's this club versus alt comedy divide.
Terrible.
It's so stupid.
You should be able to do all of them.
I agree.
Yeah. And if you can't, get the fuck out, because look at alt comedy is kind of gone right now, and then you got to find yourself. I always wanted to be able to do an urban room, hacky fucking dumb club, and then 12 shiny nickels, and then Meltdown, fish tacos, the store, anywhere where you could get them.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, if you connect with a certain audience maybe more easily or better than like some other audience, just because, your style of comedy or the way you look or whatever. But still, it's like you have to be able to do every room if you want to be good.
Your easy audience isn't going to be in Buffalo.
Right.
And when you get there, you're like, wait a minute, this Star Wars joke kills at 12 shiny nickels. You guys suck. And they're like, hey, man, we had fucking... Sarah Silverman in here last week murdering. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, it might be you.
Yeah, might be you.
You might not be good enough.
Your safety net is not here.
Yep.
And, I love the challenge. I mean, I'd go into Meltdown, and it made me nervous because some of my stuff wasn't dirty, but compared to in an alt room, you were like, holy shit, you felt like a blue comic from the old days,
Yep.
But I find that if you have good jokes, they're going to just work anywhere. And then the comfort of that is great, It's like, oh, I've seen this. Truckers,
Yeah.
Here the little truckers like looking at you. And then you go to another place and it's old people. You're like, oh, I got nothing for these guys. But old people laugh at crazy shit,
Yeah.
So were you getting into the alt shows?
Yeah, so I think I started doing more alt shows in the beginning just because that was like where I could get in more easily, and there's just a lot more indie shows, especially like in the Bay. Like you don't start really working the club until you've got like a solid, 15, 20 minutes.
Of course.
So all the shows up there were indie shows run by other comics. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, usually I can do pretty good in an alt room. And for me, it's like easier for me the way I look. The jokes I tell, they're on board immediately. And then trying to do more club work, I'm like, oh, I got to tighten all my jokes and really perform them, like punch it up. So that's kind of what I've been doing now is just like, oh, I got to like write down these jokes and punch them up. Because sometimes if I'll do an indie show, I can get away with extra filler words.
Yeah.
In my
and
sets.
you get lazy.
You get lazy. And then I'm watching the tapes back and I'm like, oh, this is me being lazy.
Yep.
Like I know this joke works, but if I just cut out the fat, it would work even better.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we're doing is trying to learn.
Yeah.
There's nights where I just feel terrible. I mean, right now I feel amazing about my material and it gets a quarter of the laughs of the old shit. But I feel better about myself. And I'm like, well, I'm getting there. I'll figure it out. I guess just got to find the punchlines.
Yes.
You got these great premises. You're like, I'm going to go up there with a premise and just the premise is getting laughs. Now what?
Yeah, and then the rest of the joke, it just peters out.
Yeah, you're like, and then anyway.
You're like, and next joke. What else do I got?
Yeah. And so from the Bay, you make the jump here.
I moved here about 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago. I mean,
how do you
a year
do it?
of it has been inside.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then I moved down, originally lived with 3 other comedians. That was the first apartment I was in.
Where were you guys?
East Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Near Squirrel.
No, squirrel?
Yeah.
Fuck, I love the word squirrel.
Yeah.
I think squirrel is one of the greatest things. It's like, what a squirrel.
Yeah.
Just people that are just fucking nutty. That guy's a squirrel. Where's Squirrel at?
It's in East Hollywood. You've never been?
No.
Oh,
is it a club?
No, it's a place to eat. It's a brunch spot.
Oh, where is it?
It's a very LA brunch spot. That's just the best way I can describe it. I also lived kind of near the Virgil, like in that area.
Oh, yeah. Virgil's great room.
So great.
Oh, man. So good. I mean, that is a dream club.
Yep.
That should have just been straight up only a comedy club.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
They totally could have done that.
God, yeah. So that's a great area. I mean, East Hollywood's fantastic. And, I also think that the alt comedy LA is really good.
I think so, too, yeah.
There's some people that are just crushers. Pete Holmes was a killer when he was doing it for a while there before he got into his TV mode.
Yeah, I think I saw him at UCB Franklin or Sunset, like right before the pandemic maybe. And he did a, like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I was like dying laughing.
Yeah. Did you ever go to Meltdown? Or it was gone, huh?
I didn't go to Meltdown because I think I was still living in the Bay at the time when
Right.
the show was running. But I did go to that space and perform, I think, right before it closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was what a magic.
It was great. Yeah, I think the one show I did there, I was like, this spot is awesome.
It was crazy. No drinks, no check drops, no drink orders, just pure comedy fans.
Yeah, just comedy fans in like this underground basement-y looking thing.
What was great about Meltdown was other cities would mimic it. So then you didn't have to do the old fucking corporate club with the, papered rooms and 2 drink minimums and
Right.
bachelorette parties. I did a sort of Meltdown in Pittsburgh. It was like 2 nights. I think it was called Acme.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but man, fantastic. These people started building their own type of meltdowns around America.
So it was kind of like a comedy club, but it wasn't like a traditional comedy club.
Yeah, they're like black boxes.
Which I think are great. I've
think
done a
they're the
bunch
best.
of black box theaters. So fun.
I love them, man. And then what's the movie theater over here? Aaron and I do it. The one that it's a theater. God, I forget the typewriter. Dynasty typewriter.
Dynasty.
Well,
Dynasty's awesome.
Oh, amazing. You know what I mean? I love that kind of shit where when you're done with a show, you can talk books or music or film or architecture or, it's not like, dude, nuts to bar. Grab you and get you in a headlock. You're like, my neck.
That's the thing, too, is like I feel like audience members always think that comedians want to hang out and talk to them afterwards. I almost never do.
Well, they don't understand. And, they're like, oh, you fucking Hollywood big shot, Mr. Famous.
And it's not personal.
No, dude, I just talked for 2 hours.
Exactly.
I flew 3,000 miles. I'm in a strange place, and I don't drink.
I don't drink either.
Right.
So it's like,
And
what are we going to do?
You're blasting me with your booze breath right now, and you got me in a headlock, and I had neck surgery. Zero fun here. And then to go talk in a bar loud and lose my voice. Yeah, man, it's the first time I saw Nine Inch Nails. It's like, I love music, but I don't want to talk about it 24/7. I love comedy just as much.
Yeah.
So I'd rather talk to the person I'm working with and go, God damn, that joke didn't fucking work, as we drowned ourselves in grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, that's the fun hang for me is like in the green room
The
with
best.
other comics.
Yeah.
You talk about you killed, you bombed, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is tough because you want to talk to the fans and be
course.
cool. I love my fans. I consider them just friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to constantly build a cool world out there that come to see me. And I do remind them a lot on the podcast of like, look, this ain't a rock show. You don't scream out stuff, go Razors! Rah! So that's another reason I kind of trying to dial it back a little bit. And I used to do intro song AC/DC. No more of that. You walk on there like, fuck yeah, Back in Black.
Yeah. What's your intro song now?
Now I just do Grateful Dead, anything Dead mellow,
Okay, yeah.
Truckin', something just dumb and mellow, like not dumb, but something that's not fucking crazy.
Yeah, you don't want people to start yelling out at the top of your set.
No. At the end's fine, but yeah. You got an intro song?
I don't, and I need to get one because I will get asked sometimes at like clubs. They're like, "Oh, what do you want for your intro song?" And I'm like, "I don't care."
No, don't do that.
I know.
Yeah.
They hate that. I feel bad about it, but I just don't have one.
Are you a music person?
I will be honest. I like top 40,
That's fine, though.
and Third Eye Blind is my favorite band. Did you see this?
What?
Shirt? Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind?
Yes.
Whoa. This has got to be a first in the 10 years of doing the podcast. How does this happen?
How does this happen? Is I had a crush on a girl when I was in, I want to say 6th grade, I think. I didn't know it at the time because I didn't know any gay people. I don't know what being gay is.
Right.
I just like really thought this girl was super cool, and she still is. And I was like, oh, I want to be like friends with her. And I didn't grow up with any cool music. Like I only listen to classical music because my mom doesn't like listen to the radio or anything.
Right.
So I don't know anything about music. At some point, she loves Third Eye Blind, and I'm like, oh, okay, Third Eye Blind, and I get into it. Now it's my favorite band.
Wow. Still, I mean, that's like 90s.
I know. I'm really bad at like memorizing lyrics.
Yeah.
But if the song's playing, I can like, sing along with it. But if you asked me to just sing the song, I wouldn't know any words to any songs. But if you play it, I know them all.
Yeah. I was doing a record in San Francisco in a studio that Third Eye Blind was doing a record at the same time. And he was dating a big movie star. What's her name? Was it Charlize Theron?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did date Charlize Theron.
And so this is so fucking funny that you bring this up because the story just hits me out of nowhere. But each day we'd come into the studio and he would have like $1,000 in sushi in the green room.
What?
Just, I mean, fucking. And he'd go, help yourself, guys. And we'd be like, wow, sushi, And she was there, and I played harmonica, so they asked me to play harmonica on this Clash cover, Train in Vain, they were doing at the time. So there was about a month that I was around Third Eye Blind every day, and Stephen Jenkins, and I knew the bass player. It was just a weird time in my life. Like, this guy's dating like one of the most beautiful women on the planet and one of the greatest actresses ever. And I'm like, how did he get her? Like, you know what I mean? Like she seems so smart to me. Like she should be dating like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not knocking him, but like this woman is like, she's smart.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's incredible. I'm not knocking him, but I'm just saying it just seemed like a really strange couple.
But we're going to have to look into this later and see how they met. I am also interested.
Yeah.
I forgot that he dated Charlize Theron.
Yeah, man. And it might have even been around the Monster era, which is that film Monster.
I never saw it.
Oh, my God. It is.
I mean, I think I was a child.
You should watch that, though. It's some of the best acting ever done.
Who's in this movie?
It's her. Hold on.
Oh, she's in this movie.
Oh, yeah. She's the star. Hold on. That's what I'm saying. I think she got an Academy Award. Hold on. Here it is. 2003. So that might have been.
Yeah, I was 9?
Yeah.
No, I was 11.
Well, let me just tell you something. Do yourself a favor and watch that in the next few days.
Okay. I will watch it.
It is flooring. But anyway, Third Eye Blind, did you ever go see him live?
Oh, did I ever?
Oh.
I've been going to see them live.
Wow.
I think not this past year, the year before. I think I saw them like 4 or 5 times in a year.
Wow. You're like a
Like a groupie.
an eye head.
Yeah. Is that what they call the Third Eye Blind?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like a deadhead. You're an eye head.
It doesn't sound so good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. Wow, man. And then nobody else, though. So it's like you just picked one and then that's your band.
And I also love Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's some serious songwriting there.
Oh,
man.
she's incredible.
Yeah, just nuts. And a billionaire. And
She's a genius.
Yeah.
She writes and performs all of her own music.
Yep.
One of the smartest business women, I think, in music.
Come on. Just her real estate portfolio is a goddamn knockout.
Yeah.
It's nuts. She's terrible at picking men, but then it gives her hits, so I get it. It's a thing. It's almost her Samson, don't cut my hair. I gotta date shit men. I need a new album. Yeah. I need a new album. Can you imagine she got a good man? She'd be like, you're out of here.
Well, she's been dating the guy she's dating now for like 3 years, I think.
Oh,
so
whoa.
I think maybe finally figured it
And who's
out.
that? Do you know?
Joe Alwyn.
What's he do?
He's an actor.
Yeah.
He was in I can't remember. He was in a movie that I saw recently, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
Yeah, all good.
But yeah, he's an actor.
Wow, Third Eye Blind, and I dig it. It's. I love when people have completely, because that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I mean people come on and they, yeah, I'm really way into Nick Cave, and they go, oh really? What era? All of them. all of the eras. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. My music taste not cool at all.
yeah, but I love that you
Never
talk
been
about
cool.
it.
Yeah.
It's almost you're wearing that shirt and people would think it was ironic. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a funny shirt. I know, right? Deep down inside, you're like, oh, I love them.
No, I know. I own several Third Eye Blind shirts.
Wow.
I've been to almost all of Taylor Swift's concerts, and I'm very vocal about it too. They're like, "Who's your favorite band?" I'm like, "These two artists. Seen them a bunch." I also like Tegan and Sarah. They're great.
Yeah.
Seen them a couple times, but like top two, Third Eye Blind, Taylor Swift. Sorry.
Well,
Not sorry.
Third Eye Blind, super poppy type of songwriting.
Yes.
So I get it. You like top 40.
I like the poppy kind of.
And that's an art. That is an art of people that know how to write these songs with massive hooks is unreal, because I wrote songs for years and you're always chasing, like comedy, the big closer, you're always chasing the big hook. And if you get the big hook, you've got them. You've got a song there.
So what you're saying is they keep getting me.
Yeah. Well, you know, top 40 is going to be around forever because it grabs you. It's almost like a weird drug where all of a sudden you're just high for 3 minutes on something and then it kind of goes away later. But it is something that grabs you and grabs you and grabs. That's why top 40 is still around.
Yeah, and I love it because I do feel like, because I'm so mellow, like if I play top 40, I get hyped. You know, I'm like, oh, like let's go do some stuff. And I love to listen to one song on repeat like the whole day. Like that's my version of white noise.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm trying to write or work, I'll just play like one Taylor Swift song the whole day.
Wow.
I'm sure my neighbor hates me.
Yeah. Well, if I like a song, like recently in the last couple of years, I fell in love with this John Mayer record, Born and Raised.
Okay.
And there's a song on there, if I ever get around to living, I probably listened to that for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But that shit can inspire you. It can inspire you to write. It can inspire you in life of like, God, this is some good fucking art. Some people think top 40 is not art, but there is an art to it. I grew up on a different top 40 because I'm old as fuck. So Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, you know, that kind of shit.
That was the top 40?
Ooh, man. You know, all that stuff of like Shadow Dancing by Andy Gibb. Shadow Dancing. Just those kind of songs that come on and you just fall in love with it. You're just like, God, these are great tunes. Finally wrote songs.
Yeah.
You know, and there's teams out there that know how to do it.
I was reading like a book where they talk about how they get people into songs. Like there was some Outcast song, you know, that Hey Ya Outcast song?
I love it.
So they tried to like put it on the radio and they were like, oh, this is going to be a hit. People weren't buying into it. And then they like started sandwiching it in between like other like huge hits.
Right.
And that's when it started blowing up.
Wow.
So there's like a whole back end to like making a top 40 hit.
You got to have somebody that has that power of like, we want this song in the middle. And they're like, well, no one's liking it. And they're like, well,
They're
just
like, no, trust me.
Yeah, put it in between these two. That's almost like when you have the kind of mediocre bit and you squeeze it, or not mediocre, new bit.
New bit.
And you squeeze it
not
in
mediocre,
between.
new bit.
Yeah.
You're like, let me put it in between two solid bits.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get the courage to do it. So you do the strong bit, and then you go, all right, here comes the new bit. Medium laughs back into the strong bit again, and then that's how you start to build a bit in the middle of your good stuff.
Exactly. Because you can't start out with the new bit. You lose the audience immediately. You'll never get them back.
Yeah. I always do it, though. I'm like, fuck this.
Right up top?
I'm going to do this new. Let's see.
I mean, I've done it sometimes, but it doesn't work as well for the set overall. But for me, I'm like, let's just see if I can pull it off.
Yeah. So where are you living now? You moved out of there and you got your own place, or what?
Yeah, got my own place in Burbank.
Yeah.
So.
Are you working a job or?
No, just comedy stuff.
That's
so,
great.
You know, I do a lot of like corporates or colleges.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Through that, what's that program called? ACTA or DACA?
NACA.
NACA. Did you do that?
I did do it a few years ago. Now I just get them sent to me for my agent sometimes, so I don't do as many.
You got an agent. What's that like?
Yeah.
I've never had an agent or a manager.
My college agent just sends me colleges.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Sometimes it's just like if someone's like seen me before,
Yeah.
they have a roster, so sometimes they'll just pitch me as like an option for whatever annual comedy show they do. But now everything's virtual. So I'm doing a lot of these like corporate and college gigs on Zoom.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
So what, you're set up in your house with a backdrop?
Yeah, so I put up like a green screen. It's blue, so it's like a blue screen. Behind me, I'll set up my table. Sometimes I don't even put up the backdrop because my desk is in my bedroom. So it's just like my bed behind me.
Right.
But if I wanted to make it look fancy, I'll put up like a backdrop. And then I have like a Zoom recorder and a mic set up through my laptop so the audio sounds better. I'll put headphones in so there's no echo.
Yeah.
And do the set to little squares on my computer.
Man, I did 2 of those, but they were primo. I refused to do Zoom shows throughout the whole. To me, I was just kind of like, I need money and I need to work, but this isn't the job I wanted to do.
Totally.
But I did do 2, one with Burr and then one over in Burbank or Sun Valley or whatever in this warehouse that was a 360 Zoom studio, like 2 stories high and round, and the people are there and the volume and everything.
That's incredible.
Oh man, it's a rush. You're like, it's like, Terror Dome or something, Tina Turner, you're in there like, all right. And there's people there and then different screens of people because there's like 500 people.
Oh my God.
So it's not just like 6 people there. They'll throw up new, because there's so many pages on the Zoom.
So they're doing it in the back end.
Yeah, they're doing it in the back
picking
end.
People to put up on the screen.
Yeah, so if you got like a screen of duds, you just, cue them like that, with your arm up and, ooh, new crowd. You know what I mean? Like.
But do you get like the lag from the laughs?
They have some massive streaming servers like Speed. And the lag really comes from what the other people have. But what I do on that, and it's taught me, this has also got me to go slower, is just lay in it.
Yeah.
Just lay in it. So tell the jokes and then just sit there for 20 seconds, then tell the next joke. All of a sudden you got an hour set in 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
You're like, this set used to be 20 minutes, but now it's an hour.
Yeah, because you just lay in it. And so I did 2 of those. And I did a lot of shit, behind... I did comedy in a plexiglass case.
How was that?
That was horrible. I did it at the store behind the glass window.
Oh, I did a set behind the window at the store.
Yeah.
And that was also kind of weird.
That was not weird. It was terrible.
It's kind of bad.
Yeah, because the people are just out there. It's almost like you hijacked it. They're having drinks, looking at the Laker game.
Yeah, and then it's just you behind this glass.
Yeah, that was tough. I did do a one show in the store parking lot, and it was fantastic.
The parking lot shows are good.
They're great.
They need to do more of these parking lot shows.
I love the parking lot shows. And then Jam in the Van has been my favorite.
Okay, I went to hang out at one of those.
Yeah,
and that was cool. Yeah,
that stuff's good. And then Jimmy Shin has a fantastic show in Los Feliz.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
It's great. So, wow, that's cool that you're making a living doing comedy, man. Mm-hmm. That is, we are some of the few out of the thousands that moved here to try to do it. And once you start doing it, you're like, are your parents proud of you? What's going on there?
I don't really talk to my dad,
right.
So I don't know whether or not he's proud.
Yeah, we got some stuff in common.
Yeah.
there's part of your inner road to comedy.
Yeah.
Don't get along with dad.
Yeah. No, we're fine. I just don't talk to him. Yeah, but my mom, I don't know if she's like proud or not. I'm never really sure. She's always proud of me as a person. I don't know if she really understands. She doesn't understand comedy or entertainment in general. I think nobody in my family has ever done it.
Right.
So it's very confusing that I'm doing comedy.
Especially from an Asian background.
Yes.
It's
especially
pretty
my
traditional.
Family. Yeah, like everyone in my family went to med school, whether or not they ended up becoming doctors, but they all like went to med school. So
right.
I was sort of expected to go to med school, or they thought I was going to go to more school, and I just chose not to. My grandpa is like a semi-famous scientist in China.
Wow.
And then here I am telling these little jokes on stage.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, we support you. We just don't get it, and we cannot help you in any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's amazing what's going on with the racism really heavy right now.
Oh, it's so bad right now.
It's so bad. And these fucking people, so you have two things these idiots don't like.
Oh, yeah.
Gay, lesbian,
Well,
and
three,
Asian.
or like a girl if they see me as a girl. Yeah.
Right. So it's so fucking, people are monsters, man. People are monsters.
It's just insane because it's literally people just beating up old like Chinese like grandmas and grandpas.
It's
like
just
for no reason.
What are you? First of all, you should be eliminated off the planet. It's just like if you do a crime like that, they're like, nah, there's no fixing you.
Yeah, I just don't know what goes in your head to be like, yeah, let me go beat up this 80-year-old old man who's just walking down the street.
Yeah, and that fucking, mentality of like, the COVID came from China.
Yeah, well, it's not from that guy.
Yeah, and nobody knows where the fuck this came
exactly.
from, and you're just an idiot. It's like, I'm a white man, and I'm always blown away how dumb white men are. When I'm traveling around, I'm like, wow, man. I keep saying this. I think people should have to go live in different neighborhoods in like the 10th grade for a year.
Yeah.
Like, it's like your military. Like in like Brazil or whatever, you got to be in the military for 2 years. It should be America. You need to, okay, let's see here. You're white. You live in Compton for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then you have to live in like Chinatown or whatever. Some kind of get it in people to learn, It's fucking nuts, man. It's horrific, actually.
It is shocking that some people have like never hung out with people of different races.
Yeah. And yet they'll watch football, they'll watch basketball.
Yeah, or they'll go eat out at like a Chinese restaurant.
Unreal. Just like selective racism. Like, I'm cool with watching it on TV, but no one around me.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, you fucking suck. It's. I hope that we can get somewhere. I mean, it's just disturbing to me, the hate. I hate mostly stupid people.
Oh, no, me too. Yeah. And myself sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. But it's a weird world. What do you have coming up? You got some shows. You've been out touring with Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah, I did some shows with Taylor Tomlinson. Hopefully there'll be more touring stuff starting the fall. I've been talking to my manager about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on some shows with me.
Yes, I would love that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Did you get COVID?
No, have not gotten COVID this entire time. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I got it, so I'm good. Yeah.
I know you told me you got it.
It's like, get it early, man. Get it out of the way.
No, I'm glad I didn't get it because it seemed brutal.
Oh, yeah, it was. Brutal. I'm just saying, at least, I didn't have the fear for 10 months of like, once you get it, you're like, all right, I made it. Now I can just walk around the neighborhood and not be freaking out.
Yeah. It's nice for me because I'm an introvert. I don't like people touching me in general.
Right.
So this whole time I should be like, no, stay over there.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
Yeah. Well, it was great to talk to you, and I'm excited for people to hear you on the show here and do some shows with me. I'm
so excited. It's going to be a great time.
That'll be fun. And what a juxtapose, I like that, though.
I think that's great, though. I like to see a comedy show that's not three of the same people in a row or three of the same style of comedy.
That's why I love the Comedy Store Original Room or the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Because, you're going to get a Sebastian, and then you'll get a Beth Stelling, and then you'll get a, say, a Burr, and then you'll get a Melissa Villaseñor. It's just all over the board. So, yeah, I love that, Well, tell everybody where to find you.
Follow me on social media. I'm at Irene_Tu. That's TU on Twitter and Instagram, which I use the most. Or, go to my website, Irene2.com. Hit me up.
Right. And everybody follow her and go listen to some Taylor Swift and Third Eye Blind today.
Please.
Yeah. What's your favorite Third Eye Blind song?
Blinded.
Blinded.
Yeah, I think it's from Out of the Vein, the third album.
Right. I like this one. God, I forget. I think it was a ballad. I'm such a ballad, sucker for ballads.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what it's called, though. But, old Stephen Jenkins.
Stephen Jenkins.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel and leave a review on iTunes. So it's easy to find the podcast now. Just go to deandelray.com. See ya.